This is also used, people call it their chiropractor in a bottle. And they use it chiropractically. You can use it before and after your visits. And it's been shown to help hold adjustments longer. And it helps the body self-correct its balance and alignment. So, it's also good as an emotional balance. And I don't have, do you know anybody who's used it for anxiety or panic attacks?
Yeah, sometimes they'll use that one in place of peace and calming.
Okay.
So yes, and one of my boys really likes Valor. It's his favorite.
One thing that I've heard over and over again in several meetings I've been to is that it really helps with snoring. So if you have a spouse who is a snorer, you might give it a try.
Do we get samples to go home tonight?
Yeah, could you diffuse it? Maybe diffuse it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've heard it put underneath their big toe. That's what I've heard.
Really?
Yeah.
We can send you a little bottle to
I've
go.
also heard that people will put it in CPAP machines. So they'll just drop it down in the water in the CPAP
His
machine.
honestly isn't that bad, but it doesn't keep me awake. So.
Okay, frankincense. Frankincense is you know, I never really thought about frankincense other than, frankincense, golden myrrh, and it is a really interesting oil. And the more I learned about it, the more I was like, wow, it meant more as a gift to baby Jesus than just a bunch of rocks, It is kind of your marker if you were to go and say, well, I want to see how much other oils cost at other sites. If you go to another site, go and check out their price of rose oil or frankincense or melissa oil and see how much it costs. My uncle, unfortunately, ordered some oils for a very, very important infection he was treating, and I made the mistake of talking to him a little bit about it, and then he went out and ordered an oils, and his frankincense, he said, oh, I got a really good deal on it, and I went to the website, and it was like, he paid $11 for a bottle of frankincense, and I was like, and I called Missy, and I was like, what do I do, and she's like, oh, that's not real frankincense. She said, there's no way that's real frankincense for $11 a bottle. It should always run $70 to $100 for about a 15 ml bottle, and so I called him. I was like, please don't, I will buy you. And so I actually bought him a kit because I wanted to make sure that he was going to do what he needed to do because it was that important. And I will share more of that story later.
What is frankincense made of? What's the base?
It's a tree.
It's a tree.
Yeah, and they can't even remove the resin from the tree until it's about 40 years old. So it's not like they can go out and plant a frankincense farm. If they do, they'll just have to wait a long time.
Die before it
Yeah, right. The process to remove frankincense from the tree takes about 2 weeks. On top of that, and then I understand the distillation process is more complicated as well. So it's an expensive process just to even get the oil out. There's lots and lots and lots of information about frankincense and cancer online, and I would encourage anybody that was interested to go and look it up and research it. Why is it not being used in cancer? Okay, I'm outing I'm going to out my profession and say, they can't patent frankincense, and big drug companies can't make a lot of money on frankincense. So that's all I'm going to.
This is frankincense.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's awesome.
This is a word you probably or may have never heard of before. If you start reading about essential oils, you'll hear it a lot. It's a sesquiterpene. which is a big word for saying it does a whole lot of really good stuff to your body. And I'm happy to go into greater detail with anybody that wants to know, but we need to move on. But it's true. It's the big guns. So, it's good for cancer. It's good for depression, anxiety, or neurological issues. My mom has got essential trimmer, which is the trimmer in the head and the trimmer in the hand. And I started her on frankincense at the beginning of February, and she's been using it. And I check in with her like a couple times a week, and she said she uses it twice a day, right at the base of the skull. And she said that it has made an amazing difference. She said, but I'll tell you what, I can tell when it wears off. So it's not a cure for the palsy, that she has, but it's better than being on a medication that will cause a cascade of events and cause her to be on another medication, and so on. Like I said, the frankincense is good for depression, anxiety, neurological issues. The sesquiterpenes, they are able to cross the blood-brain barrier. They act on our pineal gland, which is considered the seat of emotion. I just saw this like just a few days ago, and I was reading it to Charlie. There is Gary Young, who is the founder of Young Living, is very passionate about the military, and is very, very passionate about the military. And he has been developing different kits for PTSD. And he's just recently come up, and they've started testing them on actual, have you read this?
Yeah.
They've actually started testing them on people who actually have been suffering for many years with PTSD. And they have a camp that they're bringing people to and having them go through this kit and program. And they said the first night after going through this sequence of oils that the men who were not sleeping for more than 3 hours at a time slept for 10 hours without waking up. So, it's just, PTSD is not just for the military, but I'm sure that there's frankincense in the kit.
Oh, I would think
it hasn't
so.
come out yet. It's not supposed to come out until June or July.
So and probably around convention
Yeah.
they may talk more about that.
But I'm very interested in that. Kids with ADD and ADHD, Frank is used a lot. Skin issues, the wrinkles, the stretch marks, blisters, warts, and again because I was starting to get some estrogen patches over here, and I've already noticed that they're starting to lighten up.
Yeah.
So, anyway, there are several oils, frankincense being one of them, but there are other oils. Young Living has lots of oils, and there's something called an ORAC value, and an ORAC value is the oxygen radical absorption capacity. And what does that mean? That means that something has the ability to go in and gobble up free radicals. And what do free radicals do? Free radicals cause disease and destruction in your body, basically. If you're a cigarette smoker, you got a lot of free radicals in you. And you can see it in their skin. So you're probably going to end up with some type of cancer or whatever. Just for example, blueberries have an ORAC value of 2,400. Frankincense is low compared to blueberries, actually, but there's a oil called spikenard. It's got 54,000. Myrrh is 370,000. Clove is over 1 million.
Yeah.
And cinnamon is over 10,000. So it's pretty interesting.
What does the C stand for in ORAC?
ORAC capacity, oxygen radical absorption capacity. The next did we,
I've got frankincense.
oh, you do, okay. The next one is peace and calming. And, that one, I'm really sad about right now because it's the one, along with lavender, that kept our dogs quiet when there was a thunderstorm, and we're almost out of it. And unfortunately, it's on back order right now. And
We're kind of the storm season.
I know, and we're really, the whole thing about when you start looking at Young Living, sometimes there are things on back order. And that is unfortunate, but because they're so strict on what they're willing to put in their oils, if there's not enough of something and it's not good enough, they will turn it away, and so it's on back order, and we are without. And that's okay, because they're not gonna give us an inferior product just because they wanna make the money.
Except for in the kits, it's still,
It's still available.
they've only held back enough for the
Well,
kits,
that's-
which is
yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. So, I don't know when the release date is on Peace and Calming. I sent them an email and they said, we don't know either, and I was like, okay.
You need some, let me know. I'll share.
Okay. Anyway, Peace and Calming, I think has a great smell. It's got 5 oils in it, including lemon and tangerine and lang lang. It promotes relaxation and emotional well-being. It's a wonderful oil to diffuse if you have storm neurotic dogs or kids or anybody that needs a little calming down. I haven't tried it with teeth grinding, because Charlie was grinding his teeth the other night, so we should try that. It's supposed to be good for depression, anxiety, and childbirth. The next one is Thieves, and as you can see, I've had to upgrade to the bigger bottle on this one. And Thieves is probably the oil that was my,
I know if she's filming you.
the Thieves is probably the oil that really drew me to Young Living because of what it is capable of doing. And it is just crazy. It has 5 oils. If you recall, I was talking about the ORAC value with clove and cinnamon. It's two of the 5 oils are clove and cinnamon that are in it. It also has lemon in it as well. It is antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. It is just darn amazing. And I had posted this on Facebook, and I will pass this around. But this is a Petri dish, and this one is regular hand sanitizer, and then they use lavender and peppermint and Thieves. And this was a week after. And this is Staph aureus. This is like bad stuff. And if you notice the Thieves, there's no growth around that at all. I mean, it's crazy. Aside from the fact, and this is like a bunny trail, but I'm not a fan of hand sanitizer. That triclosan is made from, it's very similar to Agent Orange. And most people don't know that. And I mean, I've got the documentation to prove it in my bag if anybody wants to see it, but it's like, alcohol is okay, but Thieves is way better if you're gonna go with with something that will be antibacterial. The nice thing about their Thieves line too is that they have a cleaner that comes in like a concentrated bottle, and the dilution ratios are crazy. And in the ADR, it's safe to use even around birds, which birds are they're so sensitive. Terry was afraid to use it, but when I got that book, I was like, yep, you can clean the cage with it, it's fine. So, but here's the dilution, and the dilution is like 2 capfuls in a bottle of this, or 1 capful. I mean, it's different dilutions depending on what you want to clean, but it's crazy, and it cleans up cat vomit really well.
Good side note.
Yes, yes, I know.
Like 10 bottles of it.
Right.
It's funny.
The Thieves was created and named after research was done on a group of 15th century